Everybody, NZ Blazin here, back with another video. This time around I've got a squad builder idea behind the Indiana Pacers, as I'm going to use Paul George's rookie year in the 2010-11 season, as he's at a 74 overall at the age of 20 with 9 total badges, and he's rocking the number 24 number alongside Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert, Mike Dunleavy, Brandon Rush, Jeff Foster, Tyler Hansbrough, Dante Jones, James Posey, Darren Collison, Solomon Jones, Lance Stephenson, and then we don't worry about the other two. And that makes up your Indiana Pacers team. So we're going to run the simulation on Paul George's rookie season and see how well he can do and see how far the Pacers can get. As I've got it on Hall of Fame, 12-minute quarters, injuries are turned off and trades are turned off. So we'll get into the simulation. So we'll go from October 18th to November 4th. So we'll simulate through. We first up take a win against Washington, lose to the Spurs, win against Detroit, win against the Sixers, win against Chicago, win against Washington, win against the Nets, back-to-back wins against the Nets, and we also get a win in November to start November against the Heat. So we've got a record of 8 wins and 1 loss to start off Paul George's rookie season. So we'll view the box score of the win against Washington. So Danny Granger with 42 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. 20 for Dunleavy, 11 points and 10 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. And Paul George struggled with 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist and 2 steals, shooting 1 of 6 from the field. 21 for John Wall, Gilbert Arenas with 21, and JaVale McGee with 17 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. And then the 8-point loss to the Spurs. 21 points for Granger, 17 for Darren Collison, 13 for Dunleavy, Derek Jones of 10, Dante Jones of 10, and Paul George struggled again with 9 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist and 3 steals, shooting 4 of 11 from the field. 23 for Ginobili, 20 points for Danny Green, Tim Duncan with 16, and Matt Bonner with 11. And then the win against Detroit, a 20-piece and 10 rebounds for Danny Granger, so a double-double. Brandon Rush with 18, Dunleavy with 12, Darren Collison with 10, and Paul George with 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists and 2 blocks, shooting 3 of 8 from the field. 16 points for Rodney Stuckey, 12 points for Charlie Villanova with 10 rebounds, so a double-double, and Ben Gordon with only 8 points. And then the win against the Sixers, 16 points for Jrue Holiday, 15 for Thaddeus Young, 15 for Lou Williams, and 10 points for Elton Brand. 26 points for Danny Granger, Darren Collison with 14, Tyler Hansbrough with 14, Mike Dunleavy with 14, and Jeff Foster with 13 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. And Paul George struggled with 9 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, shooting 4 of 11 from the field. And we move on to the 2-point win against the Bulls. 18 points and 10 rebounds for Carlos Boozer, so a double-double. 17 for Taj Gibson. 16 points and 13 assists for Derrick Rose, so a double-double. 27 for Danny Granger. 18 for Collison. 14 points, 1 rebound, 1 steal, and 1 block for Paul George, shooting 6 of 11 from the field. 11 points and 13 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. And the win against the Washington Wizards, 16 points for John Wall, 16 for Kurt Heinrich, 14 for Gilbert Arenas, and 12 points and 16 rebounds for JaVale McGee, so a double-double. 17 for Dunleavy, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal for Paul George in 22 minutes. Shot 5 of 13 from the field. Roy Hibbert with 13 points and 20 rebounds, so a double-double. And Tyler Hansbrough with 11 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. And then the win against the Nets, 33 points and 12 rebounds for Brook Lopez, so a double-double. Joe Smith with 14. Danny Granger with 18, Dunleavy with 15, Tyler Hansbrough with 14, Darren Collison with 13 points and 10 assists, so a double-double. Paul George with 12 points, 7 rebounds and a steal, shooting 4 of 10 from the field. And Roy Hibbert with 10 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. And then the back-to-back wins against the Nets, 26 points and 11 rebounds for Brook Lopez, so a double-double. Devin Harris with 16 and Joe Smith with 10. 28 points for Danny Granger, 22 for Mike Dunleavy, 18 for Brandon Rush, 13 for Collison, 8 points for Tyler Hansbrough, and Paul George struggled with 8 points, 3 rebounds and 3 assists, shooting 3 of 10 from the field. And then the win against the Miami Heat to start November, 27 for Danny Granger, 19 for Roy Hibbert, Darren Collison was 17, Brandon Rush with 17, and Mike Dunleavy with 17. And then Paul George with 11 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, shooting 4 of 8 from the field. 32 points for LeBron, 20 for Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh with 17, and Mike Miller with 15. And then we move on and we'll go from November 4th to November 27th with an 8-1 record, so we'll simulate through. So we end up taking a loss to New Orleans, then we win against Denver, lose to the Raptors, win against the Hornets, win against the Rockets, win against the Magic, back-to-back wins against the Magic, win against Minnesota, win against the Nets, and then win against the Clippers. So as of November 27th, we've got a record of 16 wins and 3 losses. So we'll check the loss against New Orleans. 27 points for Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert with 15 points and 13 rebounds, so a double-double. Collison and Dante Jones with 13 each. Paul George with 8 points, 1 assist and 2 steals in 22 minutes, shooting 2 of 5 from the field. 34 for CP3. David West with 30 points and 13 rebounds, so a double-double. 17 for Ariza and 15 for Stojakovic. And then the win against Denver, 37 points for Danny Granger, Collison with 15, Dunleavy with 12, Tyler Hansbrough with 9, and Paul George struggled with 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block in 22 minutes, shooting 1 of 7 from the field. Ty Lawson with 18, J.R. Smith and Carmelo Anthony both with 17 each, and then Al Harrington with 9. And then the 9-point loss to the Raptors, 19 points for Collison, Danny Granger with 18, Roy Hibbert with 15 points and 14 rebounds, so a double-double, 12 points for Dunleavy, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals and 2 blocks for Paul George, shooting 2 of 6 from the field. 27 for DeRozan, 19 for Jared Jack, Pagani with 18 and Barbosa with 12. And then the win against the Hornets, 17 points for Steven Jackson, 13 points and 12 rebounds for Boris Diaw, so a double-double. Gerald Wallace with 11, 18 points for Collison. Danny Granger with 17 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. Paul George with 15 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal and 2 blocks. So that's his best game he's had all season, shooting 5 of 13 from the field. And then the win against the Rockets, 18 for Aaron Brooks, 11 for Kyle Lowry, 11 points and 16 rebounds for Yao Ming, so a double-double. A 30-piece for Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert with 17, Paul George with 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 steals and 2 blocks, shooting 4 of 9 from the field. And then the win against the Magic, 31 points coming from Darren Collison, 16 for Danny Granger, Brandon Rush with 15, Dunleavy with 15, Paul George with 6 points, 8 rebounds and 4 assists, shooting 3 of 7 from the field. 21 points and 11 rebounds for Dwight, so a double-double. 16 for Vince Carter and Marcin Gortat with 10. And then back-to-back wins against the Magic. 24 points for Danny Granger, 22 for Darren Collison, Mike Dunleavy with 17, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists and 3 steals with a block for Paul George, shooting 4 of 7 from the field. A 40-piece and 20 rebounds for Dwight Howard, so a double-double. 14 for Jameer Nelson, and 14 for Rashid Lewis. And in the win against Minnesota, 18 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist for Paul George, shooting 6 of 11 from the field. So his highest scoring game in his rookie season. 17 for Collison, 15 points and 10 rebounds for Granger, so a double-double. 26 points and 24 rebounds for Kevin Love, so a double-double. 16 each for Wayne Ellington and Ricky Rubio. And then the win against the Nets, 18 points and 11 rebounds for Danny Granger, so a double-double. 18 points and 14 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. 18 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, and 4 steals for Paul George, shooting 7 of 11 from the field. 24 points and 12 rebounds for Brook Lopez, so a double-double. Derek Favors with 11 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. And then the win against the Clippers, 25 points for Eric Gordon, 17 for Gerald Green, 15 points and 11 assists for Baron Davis, so a double-double. Blake Griffin with 15 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 4 of 9, so another double-double. 23 for Granger, 22 points and 12 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. Darren Collison with 17, Mike Dunleavy with 15, and Paul George with 5 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals, shooting 2 of 11 with 5 fouls. And then we move on into the end of November, into the start of December. So we'll go from November 27th to December 18th on the simulation with a record of 16 wins and 3 losses. So we'll simulate through. We end up taking a loss to the Lakers, and we finish November with a win over the Kings. And then we start December with a win over the Jazz, then lose to Portland, and then we get a win over Golden State, a win over Minnesota, then we lose to Washington, then we get a win over the Nets, and we lose to Miami, then we win over Golden State, and then we get a win over the Cavs and a win over the Knicks on December 18th. So as of December 18th, we've got a record of 24 wins and 7 losses. So we'll check the win against we'll check the loss against the Lakers. 33 points for Kobe Bryant, 15 points and 13 rebounds for Pau Gasol, so a double-double. Matt Barnes with 14 and Shannon Brown with 10. 23 points for Danny Granger, 14 for Dunleavy, 13 for Tyler Hansbrough, and 8 points, 1 rebound, and 1 steal for Paul George, shooting 2 of 9 from the field. And then the win against Sacramento, 20 points for Bino, Tyreek Evans with 18, Kyle Laundry with 15 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. DeMarcus Cousins with 13 points and 17 rebounds, so a double-double. 28 for Danny Granger, 14 for Tyler Hansbrough, 12 points for Dante Jones, and Paul George with 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block, shooting 3 of 8 from the field, but he had 4 fouls. And then the win against the Jazz, a 20-piece and 13 rebounds for Paul Millsap, so a double-double. CJ Miles with 17, and D. Williams with 12 points, and Hayward with only 10. 22 points for Danny Granger, 20 for Brandon Rush, 16 points for Darren Collison, 15 points and 13 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. 10 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals for Paul George, shooting 4 of 8 from the field. And then the loss to the Portland Trail Blazers, 23 points for LaMarcus Aldridge, Nicholas Batum with 19, Andre Miller with 16 points and 11 assists, so a double-double. Marcus Camby with 14 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. 27 for Danny Granger, 14 for Tyler Hansbrough, 10 points for Brandon Rush, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block for Paul George, shooting 3 of 7 from the field. And then the win against Golden State, 35 for Monty Ellis, 25 for Steph Curry, 15 points and 10 rebounds for Doral Wright, 9 points for Jeremy Lin, 20 points and 14 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double, 19 for Collison, Danny Granger was 17, and then Paul George struggled with 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 4 assists, with 0 for 7 from the field, and the only points he scored was from the free throw line. And then the win against Minnesota, 29 points and 16 rebounds for Kevin Love, so a double-double. 13 for Wayne Ellington and Ricky Rubio with 12. 27 points for Danny Granger. Darren Collison with 16. Brandon Rush with 16 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Tyler Hansbrough with 13. And Paul George struggled again with 3 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists and 2 steals, shooting 1 of 6 from the field for 3 points. Then the loss against Washington, a 20-piece for Granger. Roy Hibbert with 18 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Darren Collison with 14. Paul George with 6 points, 3 rebounds and 3 blocks, shooting 2 of 4 from the field. 24 for Gilbert Arenas. John Wall with 15. Yi Julian with 15. And JaVale McGee with 15 points and 14 rebounds, so a double-double. And then the win against the Nets, 21 points for Danny Granger. Darren Collison with 18. Tyler Hansbrough with 15. Roy Hibbert with 14 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. 7 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal for Paul George, shooting 3 of 7 from the field. 31 for Brook Lopez, 19 for Devin Harris, and Cody Jones with 11. And then the loss to Miami, 18 for Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert with 10, and Paul George struggled with 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 2 of 7 from the field. 24 points for Dwayne Wade, 18 points and 13 assists for LeBron, so a double-double. 17 for Mike Miller and Chris Bosh with 14. And in the win against Golden State, 23 points for Danny Granger, Darren Collison with 17, Mike Dunleavy with 16, Tyler Hansbrough with 12 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. And Paul George struggled again with 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist and 1 steal, shooting 2 of 7 from the field. Doral Wright with 22, Jeremy Lin with 22, Monty Ellis with 17, and Steph Curry with 13. And then the win against the Cavs, 26 for Antoine Jameson, Mo Williams with 17, and Leon Powell with 16. Danny Granger with a 30-piece, Mike Dunleavy with 18, Darren Collison with 13, Paul George with 13 points, 5 rebounds and an assist, shooting 4 of 9 from the field. Roy Hibbert with 12 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. And then the win against the Knicks, 19 points for Collison, 18 for Danny Granger, 15 for Brandon Rush, 14 points and 15 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. Paul George with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal and a block, shooting 5 of 10 from the field. Amari Stoudemire with 22 points and 15 rebounds, so a double-double. We move on and we'll finish December. So we'll go from December 18th to December 31st. So we'll simulate through. Oh, we'll re-simulate again. Oh, fuck. Hopefully that's pauses, man. I want it to stop. We take a win against the Celtics. We lose to Miami. So we lose to Miami, then we get a win against New Orleans, a win against Denver, a win against Atlanta, a win against the Cavs, and then lose to the Clippers on December 31st. And as of January 2nd, we get a win against the Raptors. So as of January 2nd, we've got a record of 29 wins and 9 losses in Paul George's rookie season with the Pacers. So we'll check the win against the Celtics. A 20-piece and 12 rebounds for Rajon Rondo, so a double-double. 15 for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce with 13. 29 points for Danny Granger, 16 points and 10 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. 13 for Dunleavy. Paul George with 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists and 3 steals, shooting 5 of 11 from the field. And in the loss to Miami, 29 for Dwayne Wade, LeBron with 20 points, Mike Miller with 18, and Udonis Haslem with 12. A 20-piece for Danny Granger, 19 for Brandon Rush, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal for Paul George, shooting 5 of 7 from the field. Roy Hibbert with 10 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. And we move on to the win against New Orleans on Boxing Day. 30 piece for David West, 16 points and 11 assists for Chris Paul, so a double-double. Peja Stojakovic with 16 and Trevor Ariza with 15. 23 points and 12 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. 19 for Danny Granger, 17 for Brandon Rush. 14 points and 15 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. 11 points, 4 rebounds and 2 assists for Paul George, shooting 5 of 14 from the field. And then the win against Atlanta, 25 points for Danny Granger, 23 for Brandon Rush, Darren Collison with 20, Paul George with 19 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal and 2 blocks. So it's his rookie career high, shooting 8 of 13 from the field. And Dunleavy with 18. 21 points and 11 rebounds for Josh Smith, so a double-double. Joe Johnson with 19, Al Horford with 13. And then we get the win over the Cavs. 22 points each for Danny Granger and Tyler Hansbrough. Paul George puts up 21 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 1 steal and a block, shooting 8 of 13 from the field. So that's his best rookie game of the season. Mike Dunleavy with 11 points. 24 points for Antoine Jamison. Mo Williams with 16 and Gibson with 15. And then the loss to the Clippers on the end of December. 18 for Collison, Mike Dunleavy with 12, 10 for Danny Granger, and 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block for Paul George, shooting 4 of 12 from the field. 26 for Eric Gordon, 26 points and 12 rebounds for Chris Kaman, so a double-double. Blake Griffin with 24 points and 17 rebounds, so a double-double. Baron Davis with 14 points and 10 assists, so a double-double. And then the win against the Raptors to start January, 21 points and 11 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. 19 for Collison, 19 for Dunleavy, 14 points and 11 rebounds for Danny Granger, so a double-double. 11 points and 11 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. Paul George with 6 points, 2 rebounds and 4 assists, shooting 0 of 6 from the field, but 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Bagani with 18 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. 15 points for DeMar DeRozan. And then we move on through January. So we'll go from January 2nd to January 21st. So we'll simulate through with a 29-9 record. So we lose to the 76ers, and we get a win over Portland. Then lose to the Hornets, lose to the Knicks. Then we get a win over the Hawks, a win over Memphis. Then we lose to the Bucks, lose to OKC. Then we get a win over Denver, and then we lose to the Suns on January 21st. So as of January 21st, we've got a record of 33 wins and 15 losses. So we'll check the loss against the 76ers. 26 points for Lou Williams, Iguodala with 19, Elton Brand with 16 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double, and Thaddeus Young with 14. 19 points for Brandon Rush, Danny Granger with 17, 15 for Darren Collison, 9 points, 5 rebounds and assists for Paul George, shooting 4 of 8 from the field. And then the win against Portland, 32 points for Danny Granger, Roy Hibbert with 15, Tyler Hansbrough and Mike Dunleavy with 12 points each. Paul George struggled with 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist and 1 block, shooting 2 of 7 from the field. 18 for Rudy Fernandez, 16 for Patty Mills, 14 each for LaMarcus Aldridge and Greg Oden. And then the loss to the Hornets, 21 for Danny Granger, Brandon Rush with 11, Paul George with 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists and 2 steals, shooting 4 of 12 from the field. 10 points and 13 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. 24 for DJ Augustine, Ronald Murray with 20, and Gerald Wallace with 17 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. And then the loss to the Knicks, 26 points and 12 rebounds for Amari Stoudemire, so a double-double. 24 for Raymond Felton, Gallinari with 18. 33 points for Danny Granger, Collison with 16, Paul George with 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists and a steal, shooting 3 of 10 from the field. And then the 10-point win against the Atlanta Hawks, 16 points for Collison, 16 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal and a block for Paul George. 6 of 15 shooting from the field. Danny Granger with 15. Josh Smith with 17, Al Horford with 13 points and 13 rebounds, so a double-double. Joe Johnson with 11 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Then the win against Memphis, a 30-piece for Collison, 22 for Granger, Roy Hibbert with 13. Paul George struggled with 2 points, 4 rebounds and a block, shooting 1 of 8 from the field. Zach Randolph with 23 points and 21 rebounds, so a double-double. Rudy Gay with 15 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. And then the loss to the Bucks, 23 points for Brandon Jennings, 19 for McGetty, 19 for Ilyasova, Andrew Bogut with 14, Tyler Hansbrough with 27, Danny Granger with 18, 12 points each for Brandon Rush and Dunleavy, and then 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal and a block for Paul George, shooting 4 of 7 from the field with 5 fouls. And then the loss to OKC, 23 for Kevin Durant, 15 for Serge Ibaka, 13 for James Harden, and 9 points for Russell Westbrook. 22 points and 10 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. 17 for Danny Granger, 15 for Darren Collison. Paul George with only 4 points and 3 assists, shooting 1 of 5 from the field. And then the win against the Denver Nuggets, 27 for Al Harrington, 16 for Carmelo Anthony and Chauncey Billups with 12. 31 for Danny Granger, 18 points and 11 assists for Collison, so a double-double. 14 points and 14 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. 13 points and 11 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. Paul George with 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal and 1 block in 16 minutes, shooting 4 of 8 from the field, but he fouled out. And then the loss to the Suns, 17 points for Robin Lopez, 15 for Jason Richardson, 11 points for Channing Frye and Grant Hill. A 30-piece for Collison, 12 points for Danny Granger, 12 points and 14 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. 10 points and 12 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. And Paul George struggled with 2 points, 1 rebound and 2 steals, shooting 1 of 11 from the field. We move on and we'll finish the rest of January into February. So go from January 21st to February 11th with a 33 and 15 record. So we'll simulate through. We end up taking a loss to the Bulls, a loss to the Magic, a loss to the Bucks, and then we get a win over Memphis to finish January. And we start February with a win over the Lakers, a win over the Kings, a win over the Cavs, a win over Miami, a win over the Suns, and then lose to Washington on February 11th by 1 point. So as of February 11th, we've got a current record of 39 wins and 19 losses. So check the loss to the Bulls. 36 points for Danny Granger, 11 for Collison and Dunleavy with 10. Paul George with only 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, shooting 1 of 6 from the field. 23 for Carlos Boozer, Derrick Rose with 19 and Taj Gibson with 14. And then the loss to the Magic, 23 points and 17 rebounds for Dwight, so a double-double. 21 for Jameer Nelson, 14 points and 13 rebounds for Marcin Gortat, so a double-double. 11 points for Vince Carter and JJ Redick. 22 for Danny Granger, 18 for Dunleavy. Roy Hibbert with 12 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. And Paul George struggled with 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist and 1 steal, shooting 2 of 5 from the field with 4 fouls. And in the loss to the Bucks, 22 points for Danny Granger. Paul George with 16 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals and a block, shooting 5 of 10 from the field. Roy Hibbert with 15. 20-piece for Corey McGetty, 12 points and 11 rebounds for Bogut, so a double-double. 11 for Brandon Jennings. And then the win against Memphis to finish January, 25 points and 11 rebounds for Rudy Gay, so a double-double. Tony Allen with 13 and Mike Conley with only 10. Danny Granger with 22 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Mike Dunleavy with 20. Paul George with 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, shooting 4 of 7 from the field. And then we start February with the win over the Lakers. A 20-piece for Tyler Hansbrough, 19 for Danny Granger, 18 for Roy Hibbert, and Paul George with 3 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals, shooting 1 of 9 from the field. Pau Gasol with 25 points and 14 rebounds, so a double-double. Kobe with 20. Lamar Odom with 18 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. And Derek Fisher with 16. And then the win against the Kings, 23 points and 10 rebounds for Danny Granger, so a double-double. 18 for Dunleavy. Darren Collison with 14, and Paul George with 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, shooting 3 of 7 from the field. 18 for Tyreke Evans, 8 points and 12 rebounds for DeMarcus Cousins. And then the win against the Cavs. Oh, we'll check the All-Star draft, so it's going to be Team Kobe Bryant against Team LeBron. So we've got Kobe Bryant as a starter, as a 20-time All-Star, and then we've got Tim Duncan, Dwayne Wade, Amari Stoudemire, and Kevin Durant joining Kobe as in the starting team. And then his reserves are going to be Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Danny Granger. So Danny Granger makes it, Tony Parker, Ray Allen, Russell Westbrook, and Pau Gasol. And then Team LeBron's going to have LeBron James as the captain, 10-time All-Star, alongside Dirk Nowitzki, Dwight Howard, CP3, and Derrick Rose as your starters. And then your reserves are going to be Kevin Love, Carmelo Anthony, Joe Johnson, Chris Bosh, Zach Randolph, Rajon Rondo, and Monty Ellis. So now we'll check the box score for the Pacers win over the Cavs. 33 for Danny Granger, 15 for Collison, 12 points and 12 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. 11 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals for Paul George, shooting 4 of 8 from the field. Daniel Gibson with 19, Mo Williams with 16, and Antoine Jamison with 16. And then the win against Miami, 32 points and 10 assists for Dwayne Wade, so a double-double. 32 points and 11 rebounds for LeBron, so a double-double. And a 20-piece coming from Mike Miller. 29 points for Danny Granger, 20 for Darren Collison, 17 for Mike Dunleavy, and 17 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal for Paul George, shooting 7 of 10 from the field. And Tyler Hansbrough with 12 points. And then the win against the Suns, 22 for Danny Granger, 20 points and 10 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. 17 points and 14 rebounds for Tyler Hansbrough, so a double-double. 14 for Collison, 13 for Mike Dunleavy, and Paul George with 5 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal, shooting 1 of 7 from the field. Hakeem Warwick with 15, Jason Richardson with 13, and Hedo Turkoglu with 13. And then the loss to the Washington Wizards, 29 points for Gilbert Arenas, John Wall with 16, and Yi Julian with 11 points and 17 rebounds, so a double-double. 16 for Danny Granger, 10 points for Tyler Hansbrough, and 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 block for Paul George, shooting 3 of 9 from the field. Then we move on and we'll go from February 11th to February 28th, so we'll simulate through of a 39-19 record. So we take the win against the Jazz, take a win against Chicago Bulls before All-Star, come back out of All-Star, get the win over the Celtics, then we lose to the Magic and we lose to the Mavs on February 28th. So as of February 28th, we've got 42 wins and 21 losses. So we'll check the win against the Jazz. 19 for Tyler Hansbrough, 19 for Mike Dunleavy, Darren Collison was 17, Roy Hibbert was 16 points and 13 rebounds, so a double-double. Danny Granger with 10 points, and Paul George with 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks, shooting 2 of 6 from the field. 21 for CJ Miles, Paul Millsap with 18 points and 13 rebounds, so a double-double, with 5 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. And then the win against the Bulls, 29 points and 10 rebounds for Danny Granger, so a double-double. Paul George with 19. Roy Hibbert with 16 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. 12 points for Collison and 12 points for Brandon Rush. 43 for Derrick Rose, 17 for Carlos Boozer, 16 for Joe Johnson and Taj Gibson with 15. And then Joakim Noah with 11 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. And then we had the All-Star game. Team LeBron against Team Kobe. Team LeBron get the 107-94 win over Team Kobe. Dirk Nowitzki with top scored with 16 points. CP3 with 14. And LeBron James with 12 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. 16 for Paul Pierce. Dwayne Wade with 12. And Kobe and Russell Westbrook with 10 points each. And then the win over the Celtics. 16 for Dunleavy, Danny Granger with 15, and Tyler Hansbrough with 15. And then Paul George with 9 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 steals, and 2 blocks, shooting 3 of 6 from the field. 21 for Paul Pierce, Ray Allen with 19, and Rondo with 12. And then the loss to the Magic. 24 for Jameer Nelson, Reggie Lewis with 22, JJ Redick with 16, and Dwight Howard with 15 points and 17 rebounds, so a double-double. 24 for Darren Collison, Mike Dunleavy with 18, Danny Granger with 14, and Paul George with 6 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals and a block, shooting 1 of 6 from the field. And in the February 28th game to finish February, we take a loss to the Mavs. 26 points and 11 rebounds for Dirk, so a double-double. 23 for Caron Butler. 11 points for Marion. Jason Kidd with 7. 25 for Danny Granger. Roy Hibbert with 18 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Collison with 14. Paul George with 9 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists and a steal, shooting 3 of 7 from the field. And we move into March, so we'll go from March 1st to March 25th with a 42-21 record, so we'll simulate through March, and we'll re-simulate again through March. So we take a loss to start March against the Spurs, and we lose to the Bulls, and we take a win against the Sixers, then we lose to the Rockets, and we take back-to-back wins against Detroit, and then we win against the Bucks, win against the 76ers, lose to the Hornets, win against the Raptors, win against the Celtics, and then lose to the Atlanta Hawks on March 25th. So as of March 25th, I've got a record of 49 wins and 26 losses. So I'll check the loss on March 2nd. 19 points for Tony Parker with 12 assists, so a double-double. 19 for Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan with 18, and Danny Green with 15. 20 points for Dunleavy, Danny Granger with 16. Tyler Hansbrough with 11 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. Paul George with 7 points, 1 rebound, and 1 steal, shooting 3 of 10 from the field. And then the loss to the Bulls. 32 for Carlos Boozer, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists for Derrick Rose, so a triple-double. 18 points and 15 rebounds for Joakim Noah, so a double-double. And Taj Gibson with 17. 31 for Danny Granger, Darren Collison with 22. 18 for Roy Hibbert, and Paul George with 2 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 4 steals, shooting 0 for 2 from the field, and his only 2 points are from the free throw line. And then the win against the Sixers, 21 points for Danny Granger, 20 for Collison. Roy Hibbert with 16 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. Dunleavy with 14 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal for Paul George, shooting 4 of 12 from the field. 17 for Iguodala, 16 for Jrue Holiday, 14 for Elton Brand. And then the loss against the Rockets, 19 points for Brandon Rush, 19 for Danny Granger, 12 points for Dunleavy, and Paul George with 3 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists, shooting 1 of 4 from the field. Aaron Brooks with 16, Louis Scola with 15, and Battier with 14. And then the win against Detroit, 14 for Rip Hamilton, 14 for Charlie Vanuiva, Greg Monroe with 12 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block for Paul George. 17 for Danny Granger. Tyler Hansbrough with 16 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. 16 for Mike Dunleavy. And then the back-to-back wins against Detroit. 25 points for Rip Hamilton. 13 for Tracy McGrady. 32 points and 11 rebounds for Danny Granger, so a double-double. Mike Dunleavy with 19. Darren Collison with 17. Paul George with 9 points, 2 rebounds and assists, shooting 3 of 8 from the field. And then the win against the Bucks. 19 for Ilyasova. Andrew Bogut with 16 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. Larry Saunders with 12 points and 15 rebounds, so a double-double. 26 for Danny Granger, 18 for Brandon Rush, 18 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block for Paul George, shooting 7 of 10 from the field. And then the win against the Sixers, 24 for Danny Granger, 20 for Darren Collison, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and a block for Paul George, shooting 5 of 11 from the field. Thaddeus Young with 18 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Elton Brand with 15 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Evan Turner with 13 and Jrue Holiday with 12. And in the loss to the Hornets, 23 points for Stephen Jackson. Ronald Murray with 17 and Gerald Wallace with 17. 26 for Danny Granger, 17 for Mike Dunleavy. Paul George with 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, shooting 2 of 9 from the field. And then we move on to the win against the Raptors. 19 points, 10 rebounds for Pagani, so a double-double. Ed Davis with 16 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. 15 points for DeMar DeRozan. 19 points for Danny Granger, 18 for Collison. Paul George with 13 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal, shooting 3 of 4 from the field and 7 of 7 from the free throw. And then the win against the Celtics, 19 points for Ray Allen. Paul Pierce with 17, 12 points and 11 assists for Rondo, so a double-double. Kevin Garnett with 12 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. A 30-piece for Danny Granger, Darren Collison with 18, Tyler Hansbrough with 14, and Roy Hibbert with 14 points and 11 rebounds, so a double-double. Paul George with 11 points and 2 rebounds, shooting 3 of 6 from the field. And then the loss against Atlanta, 34 points and 10 rebounds for Joe Johnson, 20 for Josh Smith, and 12 for Jamal Crawford. 16 points and 12 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. 11 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block for Paul George, shooting 4 of 7 from the field. And we simulate on, so we'll go from March 25th to April 2nd, so we'll simulate through. We end up taking a win against the Mavs. We'll simulate through again, a win against the Bucks, a win against OKC to finish March, and then a win against the Cavs to start April. So we'll check these 4 wins. So we'll check the win against the Mavs. 35 points for Danny Granger. Paul George with 19 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 steals, shooting 6 of 11 from the field. 39 for Dirk Nowitzki. Deshaun Stevenson with 13 and Tyson Chandler with 11 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Then the 1-point win over the Bucks. 31 points for Danny Granger, 21 points and 12 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals for Paul George, shooting 1 of 4 from the field. 21 for Brandon Jennings, Corey Maggette with 20, and Andrew Bogut with 14. And then the win against OKC, 25 for Danny Granger, 18 points and 10 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. 17 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal for Paul George, shooting 5 of 6 from the field. 21 for Kevin Durant, 17 for Jeff Green, 16 points and 11 assists for Westbrook, so a double-double, and Serge Ibaka with 12. And then the win against the Cavs, 25 for Gibson, Antoine Jameson with 15, and Mo Williams with 10. 23 for Granger, Darren Collison with 19, And Paul George with 9.7 rebounds and 2 assists with 1 block, shooting 2 of 11 from the field. And then we move on and we'll simulate April 5th and April 7th. So we end up taking a win against the Knicks and a win against Detroit. So we'll check those 2 wins. 23 for Danny Granger, 20 for Dunleavy, 14 points and 14 rebounds for Roy Hibbert, so a double-double. Paul George with 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal and a block, shooting 3 of 5 from the field. 23 for Raymond Felton, 22 for Laundry Fields, and 14 for Amari Stoudemire. Then the win against Detroit, 14 for Roy Hibbert, 13 for Danny Granger, 13 for Brandon Rush, and 13.7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block for Paul George, shooting 6 of 8 from the field. 15 for Charlie Vanuana, 12 points for Rodney Stuckey, and 12 points for Ben Gordon, 12 points for Rip Hamilton, and 12 points and 10 rebounds for Greg Monroe, so a double-double. We move on to the last game of the 2010-2011 season, with Paul George being a rookie in Indiana, with a record of 55 wins and 26 losses going into the last game, so we'll simulate the last game. And we end up taking a win against the Knicks. So MVP goes to LeBron. Rookie of the Year goes to John Wall. Sixth Man of the Year goes to Ty Lawson. Dwight Howard gets Defensive Player of the Year. And Most Improved goes to James Johnson. Eric Spoelstra gets Coach of the Year with 71 wins and 11 losses. So we'll move on. All-NBA first team is Derrick Rose, Chris Paul, LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Dwight Howard. All-NBA second team is Dwayne Wade, Westbrook, David West, Zach Randolph, and Brook Lopez. All-NBA third team is Monty Ellis, Kobe Bryant, Paul Millsap, Josh Smith, and Pau Gasol. All-defensive first team is Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, Paul Millsap, LeBron James, and Dwight Howard. All-defensive second team is Monty Ellis, Rajon Rondo, Josh Smith, David West, and Brook Lopez. All-rookie first team is John Wall, Derek Favors, Greg Monroe, Hanson Whiteside, and Ish Smith. And then all-rookie second team is Pat Bev, Tracy Boyd, Dion McLeod, Leslie Harris, and Dennis Burke. So we advance on. So it's going to be Portland, Houston, Phoenix, Memphis playing the play-in the West. And in the East, it's going to be Milwaukee, Philly, and Charlotte, Washington. So we'll play the play-in. So we've got San Antonio playing Houston, LA Clippers playing Denver, OKC, the Lakers, and Dallas, Portland for your West, for your finals in the West. And for your finals in the East, you got Miami against Milwaukee. Indiana with rookie Paul George got the 4th seed, and they're playing Orlando. Boston playing Atlanta, and Chicago playing Philly in the East. So we'll go into the team status. So we've got with Paul George being a rookie. Where is Paul George? Where's his name on here? So Paul George's team, by him being a rookie, were alongside Darren Collison, Danny Granger, Tyler Hansbrough, and Roy Hibbert, and Mike Dunleavy. His team ends up with 56 wins and 26 losses for the season at a .683 winning percentage, 31 wins and 10 losses at home, and 25 wins and 16 losses away. We end up being the 4th seed behind the Heat, the Bulls, and the Celtics, with 56 wins and 26 losses. So we'll move on. So we'll go into round 1 against Indiana against Orlando. So here goes game 1, and Orlando take game 1, 103-100. Danny Granger with 34, Dunleavy with 15, Darren Collison with 13, Roy Hibbert with 12 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. Paul George with 2 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. So he shot 1 for 7. Rasheed Lewis with 22. Dwight Howard with 22. Vince Carter with 15. And then 13 for J.J. Redick. And then move on to game 2, and we'll simulate game 2. And Indiana win game 2, 120-97. 29 points and 16 rebounds for Danny Granger, 24 for Mike Dunleavy, Darren Collison with 19, and Paul George with 2 points, 4 rebounds and 5 assists. He only shot the ball twice. Dwight Howard with 25 points and 15 rebounds, so a double-double. Rasheed Lewis with 16. Move on to Game 3 and we'll simulate Game 3. And Orlando take Game 3, 83-73. 14 for Gortat with 10 rebounds, so a double-double. 13 for Vince and 13 for Dwight. 12 points and 11 rebounds for Danny Granger. Paul George with 10 points and 6 rebounds, shooting 4 of 8. Move on to Game 4 and we'll simulate Game 4. And Indiana have tied it back up. 122-113 win. 26 points and 15 rebounds for Dwight. 15 for JJ Redick. 34 for Danny Granger. Brandon Rush with 16. And then Paul George with 7 points, 1 rebound and 1 assist, shooting 2 of 4 from the field. Then we move on to Game 5 and we'll simulate Game 5. And Orlando are up in Game 5. They take the 114-93 win. Danny Granger with 24, Collison with 18, Paul George with 6 points, 2 rebounds and 1 block, shooting 2 of 4. 24 for JJ Redick and 22 for Vince, and Dwight with 17. Move on to Game 6 and we'll simulate Game 6. And the Pacers have been eliminated in Game 6. So Paul George's rookie season comes to an end in the first round against the Orlando Magic. So we'll simulate the second round. So it's going to be San Antonio, Denver, Dallas, OKC, Miami, Orlando, and Chicago, Atlanta. So we'll simulate the round. Now we've got San Antonio, Dallas, and we've got Miami versus Chicago. So we'll simulate Game 1 between Miami and Chicago. Miami take Game 1, 108-98. 27 points and 14 assists for LeBron, so a double-double. 22 for Dwayne Wade, 26 for Carlos Boozer, and 24 for Derrick Rose. Move on to Game 2, and we'll simulate Game 2. And Miami are up 2-0. They get the 108-105 win. 29 points for LeBron, 18 for Dwayne Wade, 31 for Derrick Rose, 18 points and 14 rebounds for Boozer, so a double-double. 13 points and 10 rebounds for Gibson, so a double-double. And Chris Bosh with 13 points and 12 rebounds, so a double-double. Move on to Game 3 and we'll simulate Game 3. And Miami are looking like they're running away with this series. They get the 110-91 win. Derrick Rose with 23, Carlos Boozer with 22 points and 14 rebounds, so a double-double. Joakim Noah with 10 points and 10 rebounds, so a double-double. 20 points for Mike Miller, 17 points and 11 assists for Dwayne Wade, so a double-double. 17 points and 12 assists for LeBron, so a double-double. We move on to Game 4 and see if it's going to be a sweep or Chicago stay alive. Here goes Game 4. And Miami win 4-0. And Tim Duncan beats the Mavs 4-3. So it's going to be a San Antonio Spurs against Heat final. So we'll simulate Game 1 of the Heat versus the Spurs. And the Heat take Game 1, 125-105. 23 for Dwayne Wade, 20 for LeBron, 20 for Chris Bosh, and 20 for Mike Miller. 21 for Ginobili, 19 for Parker, and 15 for Jefferson. Move on to Game 2 of the finals. Here goes Game 2. And the Heat are up 2-0. 111-108 win. 25 for LeBron, 18 for D. Wade, Chris Bosh with 15. 20 points and 12 assists for Tony Parker, so a double-double. 19 for George Hill and 13 for Jefferson. Move on to Game 3 of the finals, and here goes Game 3. We go to Game 3 now, and the Heat are up 3-0. 21 for Tony Parker, 19 points and 11 rebounds for Tim Duncan, so a double-double. George Hill with 15, and Miami get the 105-104 win. A 20-piece and 12 assists for LeBron, so a double-double. 17 for Chris Bosh, D. Wade with 16, and Mike Miller with 13. We move on to Game 4. We'll simulate Game 4. And the Heat win it in 4, so they end up sweeping. LeBron James gets Finals MVP with a 126-114 win over the Spurs. 28 points and 15 rebounds for Tim Duncan, so a double-double. 18 for Manu Ginobili. 14 points and 15 assists for Tony Parker, so a double-double. 29 points for LeBron. Mike Miller with 26. Chris Bosh with 23. And Dwayne Wade with 22 points and 11 assists, so a double-double. So the Heat end up winning it 4-0 in the 2010-11 season. So we'll see the Spurs ended up beating Houston 4-1. Spurs ended up beating Denver 4-0. And then the Spurs ended up beating Dallas in 7 to end up losing to the Heat 4-0 in the finals. As the Heat bet Milwaukee 4-2. They bet the Magic 4-3. And then Miami bet Chicago 4-0. And then they came into the finals and bet the Spurs 4-0. And LeBron runs away with finals MVP. As for Paul George in his rookie career, Indiana with so Paul George alongside Danny Granger, Tyler Hansbrough, Mike Dunleavy, Roy Hibbert, and Darren Collison end up with a 56 wins and 26 losses at .683 win percentage. And we end up 4th in the playoffs in the East. So we end up the 4th seed in the East. And we beat the Magic, the Hawks, the Bucks, and the 76ers for wins for the year. And then we play the Orlando Magic and we lose to them 4-2. So we lose to them in 6. So as for all you viewers that are watching this video and enjoying it, don't forget to smash that like button. And for all you new viewers out there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as it's free. And I'm on that road to 1,400 subs. And I appreciate every single one of you that hits that subscribe button. Anyway, that's another video in the books. And that's Paul George's rookie season complete on Hall of Fame. So that's another video wrapped up and finished. As that's NZ Blasian out. And we'll catch you in the next video. NZ Blasian out.